Welcome back to the Talos of Tech podcast, everybody. I am the Drew today, while we are also joined by Drew. So, we got Drew and Drew. I hope you all enjoyed that extra long, beefy episode last week. We were just kind of shooting from the hip and freestyling it because it's been so long. This time we will bring substance to the table. Starting with the most important question of them all, Drew, I have to ask,
Yes.
Are you on the iOS 17 public beta?
I'm on the dev beta, actually. I've been on the dev beta. And it is not going well.
I'm not on it. Should I
Mm,
jump on it or no?
That's the question everybody's asking, huh? You
I
know
guess.
what? I think people over-exaggerate how bad the betas are. Like,
Okay.
I think a lot of people act like, oh my god, the bugs, they're so unusable. I've been putting on the dev betas from day one, every June, since 2016, I think, and I have never had a brick device. I've never had it, like, unusable. In fact, based on your experience, like you told me last week with your frustrations with the camera app and everything, I'm like, how could it get much worse? Like, you got nowhere to go but
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
So, yeah, I would say go for it. I mean, there's not a ton of stuff. Wait, do you have a MagSafe charger on your nightstand that allows the phone to be on its side?
I knew this question was coming.
That's the real question.
That is the real question, and that's why I actually was going to ask, should I do the beta specifically for the nightstand here? The only MagSafe stand that I have is the one currently presented, and it is just a regular one. So I have to plug it in, then I can go this position, and then it would work. Yeah. Wait for it.
Hopefully it will work. I don't even know anymore.
Oh
mine
man,
has
good
definitely
selling
been
me
buggy.
on the beta.
Yeah, there's like occasional times. It was hilarious. I was live streaming before this, and I was trying to get continuity camera to work with my iPhone, and it wouldn't activate, but it captured my nightstand mode screen and put that in OBS. So when I was live streaming, it just put the nightstand off for everybody to see. I was like, well, that's a weird bug. It was kind of hilarious, but it did technically work. Yeah, earlier I was trying to get continuity camera to activate, and then it was stuck in nightstand mode. So, but that's the thing. You use your 13 Pro, right, for continuity camera. So,
right as we speak, I am now 1 year. I'm officially 1 year in on continuity camera.
oh yeah, that was a year ago.
I jumped on the beta, the dev beta for
Wow.
Ventura, and to be honest, now that I've done it for a year, a part of me is like, maybe I should go back to using my Sony, because I did everything I thought I could try to push the boundaries, and I like it. But then a part of me is like no one's complaining about the video quality of it.
No,
So
right?
I was like,
I'm feeling
I
that
guess
same way.
that's been my for context, everybody. I purposely do the challenge. I've always done challenges of some caliber, whether it's let's all do the mini challenge or let's do the portless challenge. I like assigning a challenge just to challenge myself of getting creative with limitations in a environment that is so saturated and mature at the same time, where you can pretty much have anything you want. I like putting limitations on me. So I choose to record with the MacBook Pro mic because it's putting your money where your mouth is, so to say. I am showcasing it to people who listen or watch our shows that we have a fully fledged podcast operation happening here, brought to you exclusively with Apple hardware, with Continuity Cam and MacBook mic, and I couldn't be more excited for it. I've done it for a year now, and now it's like, okay, now I don't have to. But since nobody's really complaining about it, I feel like I kind of should stick with it. I don't know. You know what's frustrating really quickly before we continue? Yesterday, my wife took a photo of my son. Not our son, my son. And she has a 12 mini, and she's like, "Oh, he's doing the thing. Let's take a phone." I'm like, "I don't got my phone. Can you do it real quick?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. She swipes, and next thing you know, pop, 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 flawless. I'm like,
What?
what version are you on? She goes, "Oh, they're 16.4 or 5, whatever." And like, the 12 mini is working flawlessly. I'm over here like, is it struggling for night mode
Yeah, yeah. What's
or
that?
the what True Fusion, Depth Fusion, what the fusion? I forget the fusion word, but that one or is it struggling to do the portrait mode because he's too like I don't know what's happening. And we were having the conversation like, do you want USB-C? She goes, I don't know, I don't really, I'm indifferent. I use the MagSafe. I'm like, okay, that's fair. Um, do you like your size phone? She goes, I love the size, the mini size. I'm like,
Mm.
okay. She goes, but I have had the phone for 3 years now, and and sometimes I like maybe she has 64 gigs, and she goes,
Mm.
I'm taking a lot of photos and videos of my kid, and that 64 gigs is starting to look pretty small.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that conversation came up, and I'm over here like, I just want you to take photo. That's it. So then I was like, I got to get through the day one beta release thing just so I could be
Mhm.
like pretentious. I did not install the betas. But now that it's day two, as of recording this, that's why I'm asking you because
Yeah, yeah.
if it fixes my camera,
It's all worth it. It's all worth
done.
it.
That's all I care about. Check it
Yeah.
and camera features, I guess.
Well, I was gonna say that using your phone for work is the only issue I take with dev betas because if you're just like watching YouTube and sometimes the app crashes or something, it's not that big a deal. But if you're using your phone for like something work related and suddenly it can't do that anymore, that's a big problem. That's a big frustration. But you're using a different phone for the continuity camera stuff. So yeah, you of all people should be able to do a dev beta on one because at least even if it bricked your phone, you have a backup. I don't even have a backup, and I'm doing the dev beta. My backup is I guess the Doogie Android phone.
Oh
Um,
no.
if the but I've been using this a lot anyway, regardless.
We're gonna pick your brain on that because I realized we did not
Oh yeah, you
uh
weren't
I
around
have
when I
I
got this,
no I wasn't, but we I think we talked offline about I don't remember anymore.
probably.
But let me ask you this real quickly about the beta thing because I noticed in iOS 16 now I see public beta as an up like is it all done through the settings app now and I
Yeah, I
just
think
click
so.
it and that's
I even found that
so
for the dev beta option, and I don't have a
I
dev account anymore. I was confused. I was like, I
yes
didn't
you
think
do
I was gonna get the betas at June. And I was like, because they changed it. They like changed the way you can qualify for a dev
right
beta. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get the beta, but I'm busy enough today. And then while I was in the middle of working, I opened settings and I see the option dev iOS 17 dev beta. I was like, oh, I guess I can get it. So I just started installing it on everything. I was like, I better make these
can
videos
you roll
before I
it
leave.
back if you're like okay this isn't working out for me can
I
you
don't.
roll back
I think there's a way to do it on a Mac, but I'm not going to be able to help you with that. It's
oh,
not
no,
simple.
I thought I guess my question was is it as simple as going backwards as it is going forward in the
No, they
settings
make it really
okay
easy to go forward and very hard to go back. I think you.
uh,
I don't even know if they let you do it anymore. But I'm pretty sure that you have to connect it to a Mac and download
I'm on
something.
a C. I'm on a fifth
Oh yeah,
16.51C.
one of those rapid
So
response things
yeah, I
where
got
they're
that
like,
this
"Oh
morning.
shoot," and then they send out an update really quick.
Vulnerability. Somebody just got a bounty. I'm convinced somebody got a $100,000 bounty,
Doesn't
and that's
that
what that security.
There's nothing more scary than getting a rapid response update. It's just how to inform everybody that there's something wrong with your phone immediately.
Does my phone have eights? Should I like completely
Product
nuke
red.
it now? Are we done?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so I
Mac,
say do it.
you are
Of
not
course you should do
you're
it.
not running a Mac beta though, correct?
That's the one because my MacBook is so much of a tool for my job and I did a dev beta on my Mac years ago and then it broke it and it couldn't export videos. I was like, okay, I'm never going to do a beta on my Mac again. But ironically, I still get bugs, even with the public release, that are quite noticeable. Like, you called me over FaceTime before we started this, and the call shows up on my phone, but not on the Mac. So
Oh,
it was one of those
yeah,
things
all the
again.
time.
So once again, the beta is actually performing more properly
You
in
call
some
me,
ways than the.
watch first, watch iPad,
Uh
phone, Mac,
huh.
in that order. Watch, iPad, phone, Mac. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
is this what Apple is? I don't know.
Well,
Whatever.
hopefully, Twitter launches that video calling option soon, because then we'll have an option that's not Discord, which I've been locked out of, I guess, permanently for some reason. Let me
My
try it.
condolences or congratulations for not being able to get onto Discord.
I want to see if it lets me in if I open it, because I'm back in the U.S. now, technically, so I should. By all
Just like
technicality.
I'm technically part of the South, technically, even though I'm more northern than I was
Oh,
in
I'm
San
on hotspot.
Diego.
I shouldn't be opening this. Never mind. It's downloading updates.
Oh yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
phone is so
We had a
hot.
bumpy EV
Very
because of this.
bumpy, because
Shout
apparently
out to Mint Mobile
seriously
saving the
saving
day.
this
Yeah.
podcast, because I was on the Wi-Fi before this and it was so spotty. I was losing Randy multiple times. So I said, okay, I think I got some hotspot data. So that's what we're talking on now. We might run out at any second, but it seems to be okay so far.
And then, if that's the case, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and we will
Yeah.
see you in the next one.
I'm trying to lower his quality on FaceTime looks really good, which is bothering me because I don't want to use more data than I need to. So I'm like, I've reduced the size of your window as much as possible. I'm like trying to consume
I
as
don't think that's how that works.
but
I'm
like
pretty sure the
there's
quality
no
is the quality.
quality option on FaceTime. If I
Yeah.
could, I would lower it to like 240p, but they don't let you. So it's just gonna chew away at my Mint Mobile as long as possible, unfortunately. But
Well,
oh well.
well, well then, that's just lazy, right? Ryan Reynolds, quick update news, not even remotely tech related, but first Wolverine leak happened, confirmed. Can I
I
use
saw
that?
that,
Now
yeah.
I got my thumbnail.
Well, if you don't like spoilers and leaks, I guess Riley will hopefully provide you a chapter to skip this portion of the podcast. But yeah, they were climbing. Did you see how they're climbing around on the 20th Century Fox logo?
No,
Oh, you didn't even see
no.
that? I'm
No,
spoiling things
I
now.
just saw the still photos
Oh,
that
I gotta show
Ryan
you. There's this
Reynolds
video, and
retweeted.
it's the 20th Century Fox logo, but it's like tipped over and cracked, and they're like climbing around on it. So I'm
I
already
didn't see
pumped.
that.
And as a Mint Mobile customer, I feel like I helped make this movie happen. You know,
You did.
I think
Just
Mint
like
customers should get to watch Deadpool 3 for free.
just like Tesla
They bought Twitter.
shareholders,
Yeah.
we own Twitter, and well, I don't, I know we'll circle back to it because we got to I know we have to talk about it at least once. I'm not gonna talk about the
You're not? Oh, okay. I
not
thought
yet,
you
not
could.
yet.
Okay, not yet.
I'm saying we'll circle back around
We'll
to
get
it.
back.
You know,
We'll thread that
let's put
needle.
a pin in. Yeah, let's thread that needle real quick. I want to do a quick update
Yes.
for our YouTube watchers here.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I don't,
We can't forget
I
this.
don't. Yeah, I just, I should have led with this to be honest.
I know.
But
It's
really, the only
exciting.
update from me this time is, it is looking a little bit different for a reason. If you are following on Twitter, I think Drew even retweeted. So if you're on Twitter, you would have probably seen this already. Assuming people are still on Twitter, we'll come back to that in a second. Um, I pulled the trigger, almost immediately, and I ordered the certified refurbished studio
Yes.
display,
Beautiful.
and for our video watchers only,
Ooh. Ooh. I don't know what that is.
it's heavy.
Oh, wow. He's got
But
the.
this
Oh, my gosh.
is the coolest piece of packaging
That is the
I
most
have
Johnny
ever
Ive
had.
box. It is
It's
so
in
white.
fact, it's going to stay in the background for the rest of the show.
Oh, impressive. Impressive.
Most impressive.
He's pulling a Tailosive Tech. He's got the background with the boxes. This is not even my box. It's just happened to be in the room, but this is my contribution to the box collection.
Oh, that's a 13 mini? No, 13 regular.
Unfortunately.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Let me see it. The notch tells me.
The notch tells me.
Hang on.
There's really
No,
only
the
one
wallpaper.
answer.
That's a 14. That's the wallpaper of 14.
It is, unfortunately.
That's a 14.
Yeah. This is not mine. I'm staying in someone else's room who's not here at the moment, and I was like, oh, I need to film in here somehow, but how am I going to make it work? And I'm looking through all their stuff and on their shelves, and I'm just like, hey, there's an iPhone box. Well, that's got to go in the video. So they have no idea that I'm doing this right now. I'm like blasting their decision. But yeah, horrible phone.
That's awesome.
No one should buy this.
I can't believe. No.
Terrible phone.
Is that the yellow phone too?
No, this is midnight 128 gig. Terrible phone.
All right.
It's not here.
Don't do that, guys.
The person who normally is in this room is in Europe right now, I think. So we are in a time of travelers. Oh, I should mention on the story of iPhone storage 128. My wife unfortunately pulled what I'm officially deeming a Randy this morning. She you're gonna love this. She pulled a Randy.
She made all the right decisions in life, and you're one of them. And she woke up in a great mood, comedically funny, and
yes, that's what it is. No, she took a time lapse of the sunrise, and when she finished it, it does the loading thing forever. And it won't stop. And she was like, "Oh, it didn't work." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, honey. That happens sometimes." And then she deletes the time lapse, and I was like, "No, honey, in 5 years it might finally load." She was like, "Oh, okay." But I was like, "Yeah, Randy did this thing once where he did a time lapse and he couldn't watch it, and he spent all this money getting up to the top of the Empire State Building, and then like, how long did it take? How many years was it before it actually loaded?"
2020, 2021, 2022. It happened over 2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
It finished rendering. I out of principle, because as the Apple service technician told me, as everyone who told me, like, it was the most expensive video I had ever taken.
Yeah.
Just to get to that point. Out of principle, out of stubborn, stupid pride, I could not bring myself to delete it because I spent too much money to get to that point and take that.
No, I wouldn't have either. That's just such an amazing story that it has a happy ending. It just took like 2 years to actually load.
So yeah, you let her know. Be patient. It will come.
It could be 2 years. It could be 3. But yeah, just keep it there. Wait, and it might actually load, and we can watch this sunrise soon. But yeah, it was just too much of a Randy story, and I was like, on the walk back from the beach, I was like, oh, I gotta tell Randy. Like, we gotta do a podcast on this. But on top of that,
she's part of a club that she never wanted to be a part of.
Everyone hates this club.
It makes it that much better.
Yes. So we may need a better term for that. I'm calling it a Randy for now because that was who I thought of. Maybe it's a Randy when it pays off. We call it a Randy when it actually loads. Then it's a
right now it's a razzle.
Yes. But anyway, I don't mean to detract from your new setup. I wish I could see it. We'll probably put it in here in editing, so other people can see your studio display. How do you like it? Do you have the one cable to power and do video everything, or did it come with the Thunderbolt cable?
So first off, let me answer that and so many more.
Sorry, Riley. I know we're jumping around.
Yeah, he's okay. He's not a single blemish, scratch. No, it looks brand new.
Good.
If there was one, it's a monitor.
True.
It's going to live on my desk. It is not. I don't care. But the fact that there's not, and I say this because I said this happened right afterwards. I don't know if you saw the following tweet I put under it, but when I opened the packaging, this is misleading. That right there. Because it's right side, the text is up that says Studio Display.
Yeah.
When I went to open it, it dropped the front faceplate right there comes down, and the moment it came down, the iMac, I mean the iMac, sorry, the
It's an
studio display
iMac.
was
That's all
upside.
it
The studio display is upside down,
Oh,
and it went.
oh my God. Whew. If it wasn't refurbished
It came
before, it
down.
definitely is now.
It landed right on the packaging, and I was like, and I took a photo for like, I was like, bare minimum. I was like, if Apple says we're not taking, like, look what happened, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
timestamps, you know, like I wanted like this happened. Um, it came down and quack. I was like, no,
Ooh,
but I'm
that's
guessing
sad.
the packaging is more absorbent than it is. I brought it to my office immediately.
So you
Did
did a
the
drop
paper
test.
peel off?
Studio display drop test. That's a good
And
name
it's a
for this
10 out of
podcast.
10. Would recommend. I inspected it right afterwards, and I'm like, not a single nothing. You know, nothing's wrong with it afterwards. So, and then I just went all around with like my macro camera lens for the 13 Pro. And I was looking for everything. I was like, all right, where's the blemishes? It's
And
a
I could tell
perfect.
someone
It's a
like you would notice. I would probably not even pick it up if there was one, but you're the kind of guy that looks at every little angle and picks up any kind of detail. Yep,
look
you're like here it is.
right there. You see it right there?
Yeah.
That
And I have
I
I have a
can't.
little one here, but I'm gonna pretend I didn't see it.
Oh, I can't unsee it. Yeah, I am
Well,
the guy who
to make it even
fine
worse,
tooth.
that was in the SE2 review and no one noticed. So, it must not be that bad.
Well, all right.
All right.
Well, it's bad. It's bad enough for me.
It's
So
bad.
I set it down
Yeah.
and I checked the contents of the packaging, and lo and behold, sorry microphone people, but
Whoa. Whoa! There it is. The superior
there it is.
port. Wow.
I
That's
am a
awesome.
one port MacBook Pro user now.
I love that. Oh, that's so cool.
So
So it did come with the
I have
cable then. That's good.
it did
Because
a
that's an
1 meter.
expensive cable. It is not
I
cheap.
didn't know how expensive it was until I went onto the apple.com
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
what happens if this something happened to but it makes sense.
Oh,
And I've been sitting at 77% ever since.
good, good.
So
That's
it,
amazing.
it doesn't I
See,
no longer have the
why did they switch to MagSafe on the MacBooks? That's such a cool perk of USB-C, doing the whole power and data and everything through one port.
I
That's
am
amazing.
man enough to admit when I am wrong.
Okay.
And now that I have Thunderbolt doing all this, I don't ever want to not have Thunderbolt.
Mm, that's fair.
and
I understand.
and more so than ever now it's like I don't need the HDMI cable, I don't need the MagSafe. um I one cable to rule them all. Like it's perfect. And behind the studio display I have my currently I have my USB-C hub for I needed to pull some. I'm doing music stuff again. This, so I had to
Hmm.
pull stuff off of an old hard drive to get things from
Right, right.
2017, and I was like, oh dang, okay. So I have USB-C hub, Lightning, USB-C to Lightning for the 13 Pro Max,
Unfortunately.
Thunderbolt, unfortunately Thunderbolt, and I think that's it.
So you plug that into the back of the studio display? That's cool.
Oh, yeah, I do. Everything's in back. The fourth one I forgot is powering the iPad Pro.
Oh, wait. There's four?
There's
There's
four.
Well, there's one to the MacBook, right? And then there's three additional, or am I misremembering?
Yes.
Okay,
One to the MacBook.
right.
That's the Thunderbolt. One for the iPad. One for the hub. The other for the Lightning for the
Oh, wow.
13 Pro.
That is so cool, though, that like when you bring your MacBook to your desk, there's like one cable, and not only does that grant you more speakers, more display, and power, but also access to the hub, and indirectly now your MacBook is connected to your iPad, so you can factory reset the iPad and sell it like a reasonable human being, you know?
I'm not gonna sell the iPad. It's a sunk cost
Me
fallacy.
neither.
It's
I'm not selling mine. Unless someone
yeah.
wants it, let me know.
Hey, yeah. Let me know. That's different. You want it? Take it. I'll, I'll pay you.
It's been over
And
a month now officially.
if it happens, oh, about using your, yeah, that's true. Um, if I need more ports, I got more ports. I got three
Yeah,
more Thunderbolt ports too.
that's
So
true. You've got
I
all the Oh my god, that's an insane amount of I/O you've got. That's like more than a
I'm
Mac iMac
I got
Pro.
the SD card. If I was talking about maybe going back to the Sony, so I got all I got. I got the only other port that matters is the
Right.
SD slot.
Yeah.
I'm thriving. I'm living my best life, and
That's
I love
awesome.
how clean it is. So this
Uh-huh.
was me pushing it for what a real productivity day would look like, and today is that day.
Yeah.
So I'm using all the ports, even though I'm not really operating the iPad today, so don't really need to do that. And I'm not even using my hard drive right now, so two gone off the back, and I'm just charging my brick of an iPhone here just because, I don't know, comfort reasons, I guess. Range anxiety equivalent, battery anxiety. But um, we we have been sleeping on this thing in a way that
Yeah,
my only regret is that I didn't do this sooner, but if I did it sooner, I might not have gotten it at the cost that I'm able to get now.
that's true.
But
You did get it at a discount, so that gets the Talos of
12
Tech stamp of approval.
$1,200 for a great sounding speaker. We tested the mic, and to be fair and transparent here, Drew did not favor the mic over what my AirPods Pro or the MacBook was doing. But
I
also, to
don't
be
think
fair, the MacBook
anyone would.
Pro, the MacBook Pro is absolutely like this is the moneymaker right here. This is the brain. This is the core. This is
Yes.
where it needs to. And I love that I can still have access to my Mac. My new setup, which we will show some side B roll, whatever. But
Take a
on one
lot. I want
side,
to see this from so many angles. Like I want to see sliding, I want to see
okay,
panning, tilting, coming down and around and coming from the side and get the
for the non film film fanatics, everything is considered a pan, a pan, a pan, a pan, a pan, a pan.
Yes, all of the
Don't you mean
pans.
tilting? No, that's a pan.
How so? You're the audiophile. I reviewed the studio display when it came out, and for the record, I loved it. The only issue I had with it was that it was 60 hertz. But now I'm over that. I'm in remission. I went through therapy, and I'm no longer on the promotion ocean um,
Oh,
train.
geez.
So I love the studio display. Aside from the price is a little high, but how are the speakers as an audiophile? What do you think? Would they replace your
I
dedicated speakers or
I am okay. Yeah, I guess you asked the question. I'll be honest. They are now my main speakers.
whoa, sweet. That
I
cleans up the desk.
love the sound.
So now you've got a free headphone jack too. Or would that go through Type
And
C
yeah, yeah.
anyway? I don't remember.
No, that would go through Type C. It's either or. It can be either or.
Okay.
Um, for extreme like lossless playback, USB C. But if you just need to play, I'm now using AirPods Pro for just regular playback. And the thing is, like, and I said this on Twitter, and I want to iterate it here. I was mixing things out of Logic
Mm-hmm.
that for the first time I was really like, hey, I've never actually done this before. And I was trying it. The spatial stereo that comes out of the AirPods Pro
Yeah.
are the most phenomenal, underrated because audio is always underrated
Yeah.
piece of tech that I have ever experienced. That I was listening to my music like I'm hearing it for the first time, and I'm sitting and I'm going,
Yeah.
"Wow,
Whoa.
that's so
Right.
cool!" It
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 is
it, it,
amazing.
it
Didn't we give it best product of the year last year? I can't remember.
I
I
hope
feel like
so,
one of us did. But
because
AirPods
that
Pro
was not the
2
MacBook
was
Pro. That was not the MacBook Pro. That was 2021. So
That's
yes,
right. Yeah.
it
AirPods Pro 2 got no price hike. Apple Watch Charge Puck, better sound quality, volume control, and better battery life, the H2 chip. So yeah, I feel like this is. Oh, and the speaker on the outside, the Find My and everything.
right.
Uh, Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes the little satisfying. Yeah, for sure. I feel even more confident in that uh, award we gave that non-official trophy that doesn't exist.
It's official to us right here in the heart,
Yes,
man. It was
best
beautiful.
Apple product
I
of. It wasn't the 14. We didn't care about that very much, did we?
no, no. If anything, I
Because
think that
none
was
of
the
us had
bust.
it.
The 14 Plus or iPad.
14
One of them
Plus
was a bust. I don't
was the
remember.
worst product of the year.
Yeah,
Maybe it was the
yeah.
iPad. You're right. That came out near the end. The M2. No, it was the iPad 10 with the Apple Pencil
iPad
One.
10.
Oh yeah,
No, that
that was the
I
bust
think
of
that
the
was the
year.
bust. That was the bust. Yeah, that was definitely the
So
bust.
wow. So you're getting
I could tell you.
power, data,
Yeah,
extra ports, video, and audio, and a
yeah,
webcam if you wanted one, but you've got the 13 Pro, so you don't really want to use
yeah.
the well center
It's not
stage.
necessarily. It's not. Yeah, it's not necessarily bad. I just don't like. You know,
It's bad. It's
we
okay.
could. It's bad. It's not an iPhone camera. It's
No,
not an
it's not.
iPhone camera.
Honestly, the continuity camera has made me way less interested in getting a monitor with a webcam built into it. There's still a
Ever
part
again.
of me that is hoping that Pro Display XDR prices drop because I love that monitor. I don't like the price. So I'm not worried that it
Yeah.
doesn't have speakers or a webcam in it anymore because I'm like, well, I'm going to use the phone anyway. So, but
Yeah.
Studio Display is already so much more affordable. I can't blame anyone for going with it.
I would say if anyone is thinking about it or maybe like it's been on your radar, I can't recommend the display enough. I regret waiting this long because it just there's
You
so
sound like
it's a
me with the
smaller
Tesla stuff.
it's a smaller like footprint on my desk. So it's a
Mm,
5K instead of a 4K. Off frame here a little bit.
uh-huh.
I have my 4K LG, which was way bigger. Like I more than two times the size of this. And
Right.
it was huge. But it was a 4K, so it was I can see sitting this close from the monitor, I'm like I can see every single pixel still.
Mm,
But with the 5K monitor, I technically gained screen real estate. So I have more room with a smaller footprint. And I welcome both those things.
yeah.
And I like that it actually dims to the setting I like to have it at when I'm working on stuff late at night and I'm in my
Mhm.
office like a gremlin. I like to dim everything down. And so I'll do it, you know. Um, the most interesting thing is the most interesting thing is right after I set it up, and I did not know this was going to happen. I don't know why I did not expect this. We were told it was going to happen. I had a software update.
Oh yeah, they give firmware updates, right, to the
Hey,
display.
that was my reaction.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's so weird.
Yeah,
It has the A13 chip in there and everything. Your monitor
yeah.
has the same chip as my phone. Isn't that kind of a weird
And
statement?
well, we're both maining a daily product that seems to get by just fine and is good enough. So
Well, I know
hey,
this isn't the minimalistic approach, but I feel like I have to ask anyway, just to
okay.
get the Randy mindset answer. Did you consider using both monitors? Because you still have an HDMI port vacant, and you could have both and have a mission control style huge screen for I don't know YouTube, and then the studio display for editing and multitask.
I
And
I did consider,
okay,
and um, the reason why I haven't done anything with it yet, it's on the floor and not like in storage or sold yet because I'm not sure I'm ready to part with it just yet.
because it's like a
But
TV, right? It's like 40 something inches.
42,
Wow, that's the answer to the year.
yeah, yeah, nice, nice, yeah.
Thank
What is the meaning of all of this? What's the purpose of all 42?
you.
Um, I I uh I have my Apple TV HD, not 4K. That sounds terrible. But my Apple
Oh
TV
yeah, yeah.
is here. I thought about having it up here. I thought about setting up my Nintendo Switch up here and giving my
Mm.
wife just the whole living room space because I use Nintendo Switch to play, Smash Brothers with my brother.
Brothers,
I smashed. I
you
smashed. I
smash your
smashed.
brother.
Okay, so
Okay,
sometimes
let's go.
let's go, and I want to play the new Zelda game at some point whenever I can have that type of time. So I've thought about alternatives that I can use this for,
Sure.
and admittedly, there's nothing like wrong with it. It was frustrating for me the process. I just tap I just tap my little eject button right here because I
Oh
don't
yeah.
have a new keyboard, and that's my power on, so that way I don't trip nothing.
Oh,
And it
that's
just goes.
smart. I didn't
My
think of that.
my watch goes. "Tut, tut, tut." Everything boots up.
You know what never worked that I always wanted with those keyboards with the eject key? Because I still have a Magic keyboard just like that at home. It just has the numeric keypad. Why can't that button eject drives when you're in Binder? They never supported that, and it drove me nuts. Like if I select the SD card or an external drive, I should just be able to press the eject key and then it
It's the
ejects it.
same icon.
We don't even have optical drives anymore. It's been like over a decade since the CD DVD drive, but they still put that eject key
Right.
on there. I was like, so maybe there's we're gonna get 5 comments. There's actually a program shortcut that lets you do that. Okay, it's too late. It's on now.
I feel if I actually sound like that, Drew.
They got rid of the eject key on my MacBook now, so it's too late. I don't have it anymore. So
Right.
anyway, I'm happy for your setup. I'm sure, considering you have an Apple TV, you have a Switch, and you've got a MacBook with tons of ports, there will be a use for that monitor, even if it is selling it. Sunk cost.
Well, so the other thing is that eventually or any point really, my office will double as like an additional guest room whenever if and when we ever have more
When I
people
come,
here. And so maybe you want to
it's
watch
mine.
or throw something up there,
Yeah.
then that's something you can
Thank you.
hook up to your Mac and load up Netflix or whatever, YouTube, whatever you want.
That's awesome.
It's fine. Yeah. So that's I haven't. I'm not sold on selling it yet.
That's good. Well done.
This is a great thing, and I only wanted to give the conclusion of it all because I had that epiphany with Mike, and I was like, why don't I? And I was like, what? The more I looked into it, the more I was like, this is a
Honestly,
yes.
Mike should have sold you his studio display.
That's rude. Is he not using his?
Well, I feel like I know he's going to be traveling a lot, so I don't know how much it's going to be
Just
used.
buy it for a couple months and then I give it back.
Yeah, he could drive it out to you. Why not? No, it's okay.
Yeah,
This is faster.
that's fine.
And you said you wish you got it sooner.
I do wish I got it. I do wish I got it sooner. There's one last bit of Apple ecosystem update in my
One
that
more thing.
I know how you feel about this. And it has nothing to do with the day itself. It
Okay.
was more of a timing thing. I bought something on Prime Day.
You did?
But I don't care that it was actually I did a side by side comparison.
You would have bought
and
it
was
regardless.
cheaper.
Or
One of them, I bought two things. One of them I'm reviewing. The other one I'm keeping.
okay.
Which one do you want to hear first?
Keeping. That's the more
Keeping.
exciting one.
I bought at a discount because Apple sells it on their website as well, and it was the same price as what was retailed on Amazon. I bought one of those smart home lock things to my door.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
I am going full
I'm interested in those.
keyless everything.
Nice.
What sold me on this one is that it doesn't replace, like, you don't have to remove the deadbolt or any of that. Like, it's just
It physically moves the deadbolt?
Yeah, it attaches to the outside of it.
Like the handle part of it. I see.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think I had to unscrew the plate of it to what I was reviewing on it, but it goes, and what it does, it just...
Wow. That's
So,
cool. Nice.
Yeah. That means I can take it with me when we eventually leave here. I can just put it off and put the plate back on.
Oh, that's smart. Good
So
idea.
it's kind of like my
Okay.
Ring doorbell in that sense.
I like that.
So
I want to get something like that. The problem is our
Yeah.
door locks are weird. They're not like normal Deadpool. I'm trying to figure out if I can make it work. Okay. At some point, you'll
You
have
don't
to
have-
send me a link.
yeah,
I want to see this
I'll
thing.
show you. It was kind of cool. It was on sale like 30%. So I was like, it's something I would pay full price for. I've been eyeballing it, and then I was like, let's pull the trigger. So that's something I'm gonna keep, and I should get that.
Let's write that down.
On Saturday or Sunday. So either, yeah. Anyway,
cool. I like that. That's
the,
a good
the
idea.
other thing, it's something I've been eyeballing. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I got smart light bulbs, I got a smart garage, I got a smart Ring doorbell, but not, but the lock. I feel like that's the curb appeal portion that I'm like, oh well, the entryway to your home, and I don't like carrying keys, so. There's my phone's my key, and you can use this. You can have a two-factor authentication that it only unlocks if you authenticate through biometrics with Face ID or Touch ID. So there's added locking provisions if you wanted to.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
okay,
your phone becomes the key.
Sweet.
Okay, reviewing. What's the one? I think I even talked about it a while ago. What's the one thing that I was like, oh, maybe I should, and I just didn't do it. But what is the one thing that I'd normally like to at least get my hands on? I've done it technically every release so far, but what's the one thing I haven't reviewed yet for the latest version?
Am I getting it? Wait, you already have AirPods Pro too. What is this?
I'm hinting. It's not AirPods.
Oh, is it AirTag?
No.
Oh.
What else besides AirPods? Oh man, so this is how much you don't care about it.
Is it the Ultra?
No.
Oh, I hate it.
The Ultra. What's the Ultra? Ultra what?
Any Ultra. I mean, the Mac Studio has an Ultra. There's an Apple Watch Ultra.
Oh, are you getting the Apple Watch Ultra with the AirPod? No.
I'm trying to figure out the tie-in. Oh, the new HomePod?
I'm just gonna tell you.
Okay.
once I tell you, you're gonna be like, oh, it's fine. Up until this moment, for our YouTuber, did you get it before I say something? All right, I'm gonna tell you now. 3
time code.
2. Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Riley, trick this somehow. Don't just
clickbait them.
Give away it. Clickbait them. Yeah, say something very like you won't believe what he's reviewing
Code
when it
bait.
comes.
Say Randy bought Vision Pro somehow already.
Hands on the first 100,000.
Yeah, right. The only 100,000.
I bought for review purposes only.
Yes.
The new translucent Beats Studio Buds.
Oh, I totally forgot about Beats. That makes so much more sense. What you were hinting at. You're like the audio guy. We need your perspective.
I reviewed the first gen. Yeah, I got the first gen of them, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. They're solid and stuff like that." And now that these things have that spatial stereo, that just blew my mind while I was mixing. And I was reading, like, "Oh, it says it has spatial as well." I'm going to do a side by side. I have no intention of keeping them. I'm not going to be persuaded to keep them. I have no fandom towards it, more anything less than like I'm curious. What does Apple akin, one of its subsidiaries, what does that look like when it's trying to be on par for something that's Apple and Android? So they come tomorrow. I got notified that I will receive one in the mail tomorrow.
So maybe next week we'll have your review update. If you want to review them here, you can do a separate video. Wherever.
¿Por qué no las dos?
Yeah, you could do both. That's true. I'm excited. Yeah, a lot of people were hyped for that. They took the Nothing branding, brought it to the headphones. Do you like that style, like the Game Boy transparent?
I'm a product of the 90s. I had the translucent Game Boy. I loved the original iMac. I had the Nintendo 64 translucent one. My Game Boy Advance was the same thing. As a kid, that was just the aesthetic. And even in the early 90s, I remember my sister having a translucent phone in her room, that one that like has to connect to the receiver with the little coil. And and it had all the innards on they were completely like just, ooh, look at this, with a little shade of like pink or red on the outside. Yeah. It's like, this is so cool.
It's like the first iMac.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's so dope. And then when the iMacs came out, and then they brought them to our, elementary or yeah, that was elementary school. Going into middle school, that by then they were had like second and third gen of those ones, but uh, I grew up with that aesthetic, so
Mm,
it's definitely playing to my
sweet. That's
my
awesome.
nostalgia of that.
Hmm.
But I bought them really more so because they were on sale, and I was like, why not? It Amazon threw them in my face like, hey, don't forget if you want new. I was like, I forgot to check these out to see what they sound like.
Mm,
So I don't remember having a bad impression with the first version of it, the first gen.
yeah.
So we'll see because maybe people don't want to spend extra money, and I know that we have. Surprisingly, we have some Android listeners I'm aware
For
of that
some
don't
reason.
have. For some reason, they listen to our podcast because they just want to hear what we. I don't know what.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I never
So
got that. I was like, what are you getting out of this, honestly? We just
you know,
dog on you guys all day.
keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Like people like getting punched or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So that's
Well,
my
I'm
that's
curious
my
because
Apple.
the
Yeah.
biggest dilemma I think we've always faced with Beats was always like the sound quality is pretty good,
Hmm.
but there's never as good transparency mode. That never lives up to the AirPods level of quality. So I'm curious if that will continue this trend or will it break the trend and be like, actually, even the transparency mode is pretty good. Um, and it
Yeah.
still gets all the iOS integration with the pop-ups and stuff. So you still, and it's Type C. So these are more optimized for EU than AirPods.
And if you're the type of person who cares about branding like that, like Beats was the Louis Vuitton equivalent that was
Mm,
like they had brand recognition like none other, like
that's
what,
true.
a decade ago.
Mm,
So if some people like I'm not some people just want to have that vanity like, oh yeah, I like Beats to go to the gym and work out in, and these things look small and snug. I am going to see how they fare as opposed to the Raycons, those stupid ads for Raycons. Yeah, like Raycon is so small. It's in your ear. Don't use our sponsor link. And I'm like, dude,
Spreaker's
those
gonna
things
put
look
a
like
Raycon ad here right now just because of that word.
you know what I can't stand? You. You
Yeah.
are the problem for
That was so well placed. Well,
yeah.
we have AirPod Pros and then we have Ray Cons. I think that says a lot about where they stand in terms of headphone quality. But yeah, I'm
Pros.
also
Come on,
yeah,
bro.
progress Congress. Yeah, it's funny how that works. But I'm also more excited. I probably get your perspective on it more so than mine about the. There's a rumor. I don't think they've launched yet. Maybe they have. I haven't followed Beats too closely, but there's rumored Beats Studio Pros. I think they're called, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
over ears.
Yes.
With Type C, and hopefully they bring a lot of AirPods Max style
Yeah.
tech into that, and then you could have a pair of like that fixes my one of my biggest issues with AirPods Max, which is lightning. So that's
And it'll be cheaper.
probably oh that's true, way cheaper. So I guess it solves and it probably comes with a decent case. It might solve all of my complaints with AirPods now. The more I think about it, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for that one too. We'll see what they come up with.
I never hated Beats, but pre-Apple, the quality was obviously it goes very bass heavy, and it just
Yeah, they were just
you
never
get a
as good
better.
as the AirPods to me. That was my biggest issue.
No,
But they were
even the
cheaper.
first gen AirPods with the long stem, I can love and appreciate the the acoustics of like airflow that comes through all the like. It felt like they will always be the most comfortable wireless headphones I've ever worn, and I've been chasing that high ever since.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, I'm like,
Yeah.
where are you?
Do you have foam
But
tips on your pros, or did you never get new ones for that?
after that little situation,
Oh, that's right. That was like a 6 week long saga. That was like a
and
Mike was
and
convinced you could take them off with the tweezers and everything.
and so many people on Twitter was like, Stupid. So instead, we're going to take a photo of it first before we even win because it was lodged in my ear. I'm like, it's called documenting, all right?
Yeah. You could have made a lot of money off that tweet.
I, I could have.
You should do more stupid stuff on Twitter and see if it goes by.
It's, it's the only way I think I can get the impressions. Evidently, the one thing I didn't hear you talk about, nor anybody really at this moment, is to my understanding with monetization on Twitter.
Oh, are we switching? Are we done with the headphones?
Well,
gotta save social media for last because that's when we lose everybody. Ironically,
that's funny.
I still want to talk about it.
We got about 25 minutes. We can save it. I will finish my Beats Studio. I hope we have a proper contender, even if it's Apple fighting with itself, for AirPods Max, because AirPods Max is probably the best sounding over ears ever. But I forgot about the case. The case is the worst thing ever. The charging method is the worst ever. You have to pay an additional dongle just to have a wired plug-in, which Beats did not. I don't know if they do now, but it came with a cable to plug in if you needed to, a cord. And
I bet the Beats will come with that. Yeah, sounds
they're
like
just cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a cheap sound a bit to it, but AirPods. I mean, AirPods have been one of the best-selling accessories, probably I think ever, for the right reason. And even though I'm chasing the high of getting the most comfortable, like I'm looking for that first-gen AirPod again, I can put all that to the side for these because the tech is so cool. I remember what I was going to say. To answer your question about the phone tips, I don't need them. I don't know what Apple says they didn't change the tips.
They must have, because the tips aren't interchangeable, right? So something's different.
They are interchangeable.
You can take.
Oh, no, you're right. No,
you're AirPods right, Pro 1 tips don't fit on AirPods Pro 2. So something. I don't know what they changed, but something changed.
But they said a size small then is a size small now, but that is not true. They fit flawlessly in my ear. Not once do you see me adjust. The first gen of it was sliding out.
Yeah.
No, these things are rock solid. I can bite, chew, and anything with the jaw to move my eardrum and open up the hole. Mm-hmm. It doesn't slide out. It's in. So this is a pretty darn good second most comfortable wireless headphone.
That should be the headline when they pretty darn good second most comfortable. That's the headline on the webpage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So no, I don't need.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm so close. I don't know where I mentioned it. I thought I said it somewhat recently, but in some digital format recently, I said I am so close to pulling the trigger on AirPods Pro 2. I really regret returning them. I love them. I don't want to. It feels like buying a CCS car right now,
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like Type-C is just around the corner. There was references to it in iOS code, and I feel like any day now, practically, there's going to be an update where it's like, oh, and now they have a USB-C case, and I'll be like, got it. Even though I mostly charge this thing wirelessly, there have still been the occasional, I'm actually experiencing it right now, because the left one is dying, where I'm like, I need this to charge up really fast.
Yeah.
And wireless charging is good for overnight, but when you're traveling and you don't always have a good place to have a nightstand or set something down, I will occasionally, I did unfortunately today, plug this in with a lightning cable, but I want to get to that Type-C future where there's no lightning and I'm just Type-C everything, and you're already on your way. You've got an amazing braided USB-C cable. Imagine charging your AirPods with Thunderbolt Pro. Like, they can technically do that.
I go.
Yeah. You transfer all the data to your headphone. That's quite amazing. But
I can use my Thunderbolt cable literally for everything.
Yeah. You get audio, video. It's incredible.
When the next iMacs drop, inevitably, and this becomes C, that's when I get a new keyboard.
Oh, that's the time. Okay. We're already causing Apple Osborne with the USB-C accessories. Everyone's waiting.
I've wanted Touch ID wirelessly since it came out with the M1 iMacs.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't use the eject button for nothing, as you've noted. It's a dead button, which is
Like,
why it's not there.
yeah.
You can use it as a lock. You can lock your monitor when you walk
Right.
away, or
Right.
to make purchases. I don't have to use the Apple Watch or nothing like that. I apologize if my son's being picked up on the mic. It's
Nah, you're good.
bedtime for him. It looks
You're
like.
good.
All right. So
But let
yeah,
me ask you
I will
this,
update all that stuff. Yeah.
because you brought up the iMac, which is a good point. There's rumors about them working on bigger iMacs and stuff. Does the studio display, being such an amazing accessory for a MacBook, it adds the ports, it adds the speakers, it adds the webcam, great display, and when you want to, you can still pack your MacBook away, just leave the monitor behind. Do you think Apple should put more attention and love towards the iMac line, or does MacBook plus Studio Display kind of replace the need to have an iMac lineup anymore? Because the 24-inch
iMac.
iMac doesn't count.
I I don't even. That's not even on the website. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You cut out there, Drew. I didn't hear anything after you said the good. Yeah, it didn't count.
Oh shoot.
So no, I'm being facetious.
Okay. Okay.
What I'm saying is that
Mint
we
Mobile
don't
is fine,
acknowledge it.
everyone. Just for the record.
Mint Mobile's fine. No, what I'm alluding is that the M1 iMac needs to be refreshed.
Okay.
The M1, no, the iMac line as a whole has a very specific purpose in the quadrant that should not be messed with. I don't think you can properly replace it. The setup I have with the studio display and the MacBook, even if I got a MacBook Air, you're still spending more money going that route than you would if you just got the iMac, if that is your desired route to just have an iMac. Um, I I every now and then need to bring my MacBook with me at different parts in the house. I have a talked about this before. My office, I mean my closet is a dedicated mic booth setup for
Sure.
audio for voice. So I need to bring the Mac in there, the MacBook in there, so I can record vocals.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Of course.
so for me, there's those little things are like I need that, and at the time, MacBook Pro was the only one that offered. If you wanted 8 terabytes of storage, then more power to you. So
who would buy that option? That's crazy.
Fools would buy buy that option. So you could do that, but the iMac is the MacBook Air M1 equivalent. Like it's the most affordable all-in-one, and it gives you the same power with the pixels. If you care about pixel peeping and stuff like that, I never tested one, so I don't know about the speaker fidelity of how that sounds, but I know
It's
there's
all right.
more up here that yeah.
It's pretty
I
good.
know mine has more. To my understanding, it has more. But all that to say that like the iMac still serves a purpose the way the MacBook Air has a purpose for core functions. If you need to do more than core functions, I think I would recommend the Mac Mini or the Mac Studio, depending on what your tier of core functions would allocate if you only care about desktop computing. But there's something special about having an all-in-one that I personally I like. I know you like. So, um, yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't think it should be replaced. I just
That's
think
fair.
it needs more love.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little bit redundant to have Mac Mini, Mac Studio, Mac Pro, and iMac, and then eventually iMac Pro. But you know what? The MacBook lineup is really redundant already. We've got like 3 different 13-inch MacBooks, and 2 of them are Airs. One's a Pro. Then we've got 14-inch Pro. Then we got 15-inch Air, and then 16-inch Pro. It's so complicated already. I'm like, the quadrant game is kind of gone at this point. Might as well just have something for everybody. We've got so many different sizes, and while it may feel a little bit niche, someone that's like, no, I want an all-in-one desktop, but not a MacBook, but not the Mac Studio either. That's not it. It's like, it's probably a market, so might as well serve to them if we're going to serve to the 15-inch MacBook Air market, like
Right.
which we just entered. So yeah,
That's a good point. That's a great point. If there's a 15-inch MacBook Air market, there's a iMac market still for somebody. Apple doesn't make most of their money off of any of that stuff anyway. It doesn't really necessarily matter. I don't
No.
think they refreshed it just because of the whole supply chain, process, the way they reuse parts over and over again.
True.
So I'm trying to be more objective about it, but like me personally, I would not recommend an iMac to anybody. Not for the vanity reasons that you don't want to recommend it. For a utility purpose, there's so much better.
Well,
Like
that's the
get a
problem, though.
refurbished
It's like
MacBook.
the
Go ahead.
iMac is the only difference between an iMac and a Mac Studio or a Mac Mini is aesthetics, is the way it looks. That's the whole point to get an iMac over anything
I/O.
else.
You get more I/O with the Mac Mini.
Right.
You get
Yeah, the Mac Mini's got more I/O. It's cheaper. You can pair it with a great monitor that will be far cheaper than the
you
iMac
could
will
turn it
cost
into a
you.
cube, right, Nick?
Yeah, right. You got a cube. There's so many advantages to going with not the iMac if you just want a desktop computer. The only advantage, all of that argument for the iMac comes down to the aesthetic. How pretty is it? How nice does it look? Which I'm not saying is wrong. I'm just saying that the existing iMac is not pretty, or if the goal is for it to look nice, in my opinion, it fails. So that's why there's no justification for it. But if they made a pretty one, I would totally understand. There's nothing wrong with wanting a clean setup.
So you get the two USB-C ports on the back still. You get a black bezel and an M3 chip. And that's enough to say I can recommend this all-in-one.
Maybe with no chin. But yeah. If they basically just make it look like
I
your
got a
studio
studio
display.
display to sell you, my friend.
Yeah, it's just studio display, but instead of a 13 chip, it's an M3 chip. That's all I'm asking for. Just put an Apple an M chip in there instead of an A chip and call it a day. I mean, if you're talking about the thermals, they can't fit it in. They put an M2 chip in an iPad. That's not an excuse. The iPad doesn't have a chin. The iPad has a touch display and a battery, and it's thinner than the iMac. So there's no
Doesn't
reason.
the iPad also have the A13 chip?
Well, there are iPads with A13 chips, but they can fit an M2 chip in an 11-inch iPad Pro, which is like 6 millimeters.
I'm talking about ours.
Oh, ours is A12X. Your iPad Mini is A15. So yeah, they could totally just make a studio display with an M chip. I see no technical bottlenecks to that at all. There's nothing preventing them from just keep that
if
design.
that's what if you're leading and saying make the studio display an iMac, 100%.
Yeah,
for a different reason.
Oh, okay.
If that's what I didn't know that's what you were. Yes,
I agree with that.
I agree with that 100%. You get more ports. You got a Thunderbolt, and you have better speakers. Speakers is to me like they're. This could be an iMac.
It practically is an iMac. It's so close. It's practically a firmware update away. I mean,
you're right.
They put Mac OS on the A12Z chip in the dev kit back in the day, and that has the A13. So it's possible it would be a very skimmed down kind of.
So what you're saying is the studio display needs Mac OS.
It needs Mac OS. It all comes back to that. Exactly.
The best one you ever did was when I was like, so what you're saying is that the camera system needs Mac OS.
Yeah.
We were talking about the cluster, the camera.
The Mac OS is great, and it needs to be on everything, I guess. You should get iOS 17 beta, but I will warn you, don't get watchOS 10.
Okay.
Even when it's out of beta.
Can they live separately from each other?
I think
so. Fine?
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt anything.
I mean, if not, then I guess I'm not wearing the Series 7 anymore, I guess.
It's the first watchOS update I really don't like. For the first
bust of the year over iPad. I can't wait. To be honest, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, Drew.
Okay.
I can't wait to try the new iPad OS. Yeah.
Really? What about it?
Yeah. I'm glad that's an honest. I know that's an honest question, and I've thought about this. I will take full advantage of the revamped notes with PDF writing. I do a lot of PDFing, if that's the way I can use that word. I do a lot of PDFing.
It sounds wrong for some reason.
I know,
but
right? But it's not. It's clean.
Logistically, it makes sense. PDF.
I do. I have to send. I had to send a lot of without getting too into my personal not finances, but anyway, I have to
Yeah.
send a lot of stuff to the county clerk office a lot,
Sure.
and they're waiting on something from me because I don't have a proper scanner and right. So filling out, being able to actually write and give a wet signature on a PDF, and then like
Yeah.
meet the
Wet.
criteria of autofill and stuff like that. Yeah, a wet sig right. Um, then that fixes the first problem. I have an old signature from my 2011 MacBook Pro when I wrote my signature with my finger on the trackpad, and it made it very, very thick. And you can see my signature, and I can adjust it. I'm like, I've never changed that signature. Since then, whenever you try to use your trackpad for a signature with your finger, it is this pencil
Yeah.
thin. I hate
Right.
it. So then I moved to my iPhone, and I'm like, oh, this is a little bit. And then I do it on the iPad, but then the iPad doesn't want to communicate with the PDF to do it to the Mac, and I have to send it. I can only submit the form through the Mac. Like, there's issues that was kind of like, this is frustrating. I'm looking forward to the Notes application of it.
Okay.
Looking forward to overall phone and iPad interacting with the widgets. I'm kind of excited about that. And
Okay.
I think that's it. As a utility purpose, I found a use case that I would actually use my Apple Pencil more.
Okay.
Um,
That's fair.
and let's just say, if you were house buying, they send you e-documents that you can do autofills and stuff like that, but some stuff still require a quote unquote wet signature. Not everything can be done through e-signature. So there's something how it was at least presented at DubDub that felt streamlined with that process that I, as an adult, would utilize. I'm like, oh, I will give the flowers where flowers are due. If it's true how that works, and okay, then you become a little bit more cooler. And I can't wait to try infinitely adjusting the windows for the new and improved Stage Manager to see if that's actually
Well, not
worthwhile.
infinitely, I don't think, but a little bit more
Yeah,
options than I don't know.
yeah.
I still don't like Stage Manager, but at least we get external webcam support finally.
If this sucker right here goes right there, we're
No, not
getting
the iPhone.
closer. I know.
It's
But
weird.
if we did, I would not mind. But honestly, I'm just trying to replace the Mac. But when the Mac says, "Hey, now you can do funny little cutouts of your call and have
Ooh,
yourself a little,"
yes. I want to try
I
that.
can't wait.
That looks so
Our
fun.
YouTube channels are gonna be so lit. It's
Yeah,
gonna look cool.
the depth thing. I love all the cutting out filters they do on the wallpapers, on the watch faces, on the Mac now. It's so you can tell they're revving up those neural engines
I
with all
love
these
it.
new updates. It's beautiful. Can't wait.
Don't even have to say AI once. It
No,
is what it is.
I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Speaking of
Let's do
AI,
it. Let's do it. Yep.
there's
Let's do it.
there's a new company on the block that made its debut on what's it called?
Trash?
Flitter?
No.
Flickr? Uh,
Um,
Mastodon?
Muskaland?
Musk. That's a good. I'm surprised they didn't rebrand
Muskville?
it. Well, one of us on this podcast has signed up for Threads.
Yes.
I need to know how you
Drew,
experienced that.
how dare you sell out like that and just go to
Yeah,
Okay.
that
All
fast.
right.
And the other one of us can sing.
And again, how dare you use your AI voice on iOS 17 to let you sing beautiful harmonies, and I'm jealous. All right. All right, let's do it. We're on the last end. If people want to hear what we have to say, let's go down all that. First of all, in no particular order, I want to talk about the Twitter monetization.
Okay.
I saw Sawyer say that part of the requirements you have to have 5 million impressions done in 3 months.
Not only that, it's 5 million per month for 3 months in a row. And Twitter
Oh,
Blue.
I'm out the window.
Yeah, it's
I meet
definitely
every
a high
requirement but
requirement.
that.
Yeah. Well, I think they're probably starting it out high. My guess is over time they will lower it, but Yeah, I think it seems like a bold strategy. We'll see how it pays off. It's fascinating to watch because I think what they're doing is they are keeping the biggest accounts as happy as possible, which is probably a
I hear you.
really, really good idea. Not just for, like, okay, we want to pay people, but also because if you keep the biggest, most active accounts rewarded, that incentivizes everybody else to stay there. Because now all of the content, all of the most popular people on Twitter are going to keep coming back to Twitter. Or even worse, suckers like me who don't hit the threshold but are close to hitting the threshold now feel very much more motivated to say, "Oh, so you're telling me if I tweet a little bit harder or a little bit more often, this can become a revenue source for me," which, like you said, I don't remember which episode it was, but on EV, we're trying not to be hypocrites as much as possible. But what I said back when Elon first bought it or whatever was that the only way I would consider signing up for Blue is if it was some kind of revenue stream. If it turned into a
Right.
way to make money, I'm in. But if it's just to,
Hmm.
you know, get a check mark and get rid of some ads, it's
You
not
can
worth
keep
it.
the check mark. I don't care about
I don't
that.
care about the check mark at all. I have my super minimal display name where no one can see who I am when I retweet and everything. I'll probably have to change that if I did sign up for Blue. But in my opinion, this is the best decision or change Twitter has made post takeover. I have
Yeah.
not really liked any of the changes they've made until now. Like,
Yeah.
I hate the idea of just giving out check marks to anybody who pays for it. I don't like the adding the view counter. It just adds too much busyness. I don't like the
I miss the like. Was this sent on an iPhone or not? Just for the
yeah.
hypocrisy of it.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
miss it
I like the Twitter for iPhone, Twitter for Android. I like the
Twitter for
honestly,
Mac.
that there still
Mm.
feels like there's a ton of bots. Elon kept claiming like he was going to get rid of bots when he took over, and they definitely haven't. They're still all over the place. Um, yeah, it's just there's a lot of things about it I didn't care for, and but this one, rewarding content creators, I think, is something that's super important to a successful platform. It's something that
Yeah.
YouTube has gotten right, despite getting a lot of other things wrong. They do side with the creator in a lot of scenarios, and that's why no one has really been able to beat YouTube, is because they just have a clear, obtainable path to monetization, and I think that's the direction Twitter's headed in. It's still, there's fruit on the tree. The fruit's really high. It's not that obtainable right now, but I think there's some people already leaking or tweeting things I'm seeing about in the future. Right now, they're saying the Twitter ad monetization is only available for people who have access to memberships. So you have to get approved for that, which requires Blue. But there's behind the scenes talk, I guess, that they're going to start rolling that out to non Blue members. So you might not even have to pay the $8 a month in the future if you don't want to. But the likelihood of someone having Blue goes up if they can generate that much internet traffic. But again, I think they're intentionally starting high. With time, they're starting with a smaller pool. I think they'll work their way down to smaller impressions groups because that definitely drives engagement. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
I knew they were eventually going to do that. I was just so surprised by the CPMs for it. Like, very impressive payouts, I think, for what you're getting. I think Chris from Dirty Tesla did the math on his, because it was over the course of like 4 months worth of revenue that they've paid
Mm.
out. And he said it translates to about $17 per million impressions, which is
Okay.
not horrible considering it's just views on tweets. Like, you can just send text. It's not a video that someone has to click on or a short that someone has to watch through to count or whatever. This is just you send a tweet, someone scrolled by it, that's an impression. So you get a million impressions and that translates to $17. Someone's generating 5 million impressions a month. That's like $85 a month for tweeting. And then, of course, you could go further with that. Um, so yeah, it's honestly way better than I thought it was going to be. Um, for I mean, you don't see this on like Instagram or Facebook,
No,
like just post some stuff and then money shows up. Yeah, it's
no,
kind of
they
trippy.
take the TikTok approach of the shared pool, where
Right,
the
right.
more people who join, the smaller your payout will be.
But
That's just
if you're interested in making money on Facebook and Instagram, you're practically relying on sponsorships. You got to do brand deals on
absolutely,
the back
yeah,
end.
yeah.
This is just built into the site. It's kind of amazing to me. I wonder if they can sustain it or if they're paying more than they actually can afford and they're just trying to get people into it. I don't know.
You know what caught my eye that I've been thinking about? Uh, Putting politics to the side. This is not a political observation. This is a
But Donald Trump.
yeah, this is not a political observation, but more of a independent uh, freelancing observation, I guess. Tucker Carlson chooses to post his stuff to Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows something we don't. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. He's not signed no contracts because of whatever his non compete with Fox. Sure, but he knows something that we don't. And
Well, he got to
I
he
agree.
interviewed he was interviewed Elon, right? Or he sat down with him for an extended period
He
or
did.
something. I didn't watch
I
it,
think
but
that was one of his last interviews. That was one of his last interviews at Fox before he got fired. So then he did it again
oh
independently, and then
yeah, I
I mean
wouldn't be
he's just. I think
surprised
what
if he knows more plans because of his talks.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
I'm so positive because going back to what you said, which after you said, I was like, oh, that makes sense too. You got to please the big wigs first, not the you and me's, the Tucker Carlsons, the Marquez Brownlees,
Mr.
even
Beast. I bet he made
Mister
a fortune on those impressions.
Mr. Beast. My goodness, yeah, that guy, like yeah. So please the guys who are like, oh, let's see what's wrong. And even cynics of the platform who are still there. One that I
They might
know.
not be so cynical now. It'd be interesting to see their
I'm curious to see because
yeah.
I mentioned Tucker Carlson. On the other side of that, on the YouTube side, Philip DeFranco has been harsh on Twitter, and he has voiced his disdain for Elon very publicly, but he still uses the platform and put
Which
aside the whole
Elon
like,
wants.
oh yeah, it put aside the whole like you can also find me on Threads and da da da. I guarantee, because that guy is a known news commenter, whatever,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube, and I've seen how some of his tweets go big too. Him or Ben Shapiro, but like, and again, it doesn't have to be like politically driven, but these guys on all spectrums all have over the decade and change accumulated a decent sized following that
Right.
can translate to numbers. And then when you get something more controversial that incentivizes trending and retweets and things to, stay on the platform, say someone like Tucker Carlson, there's no way he's not told, like, here's what we're working on and here's what the numbers you could be looking like, and here, like, they have to be one step below having a Twitter rep that you can reach out to. They have to be in the know enough to say, like, listen, you're leading the new social media platform revolution, and by you posting your stuff here, you're able to make all this happen, and you can do whatever you want. Like, you, as Elon even said, go post on YouTube or go to wherever else you want to go to, but here's what it looks like for it being here, and we're not going to stifle any type of trending algorithms that will pick up momentum in that sense. Whether or not anybody believes that or not, we have to look at it from the stance as creators, why we are even present on social media to begin with. One, to connect with audience and grow.
Hmm.
I'm talking from a creator standpoint, not a news consumer, or I'm talking as a creative. To connect, to promote, to network, and I would even say in this new case to also grow. another revenue. No different than let's try Twitch or let's do Patreon.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't. It's not binary. To do this, you have to let go of that. None of that. It is when you talked about it on the last episode. It was a matter of a choice to clean up and have a cleaner path forward. And even I said like I'm betting the house on this with like Vision Pro, and I'm gonna focus on this for here. For EV, we're gonna focus on that, and this is where it deserves my attention. This is what I want to do, and it's paid off. That was a choice. You were not being forced to do that.
Right.
Likewise, it just giving the option to do it. It has to lead with like I think about like the stock market. Sometimes people like on paper, this does not make sense why this company is dropping in stock. It's undervalued. But it has little debt. I mean, we talk about Tesla, for example, out loud. We're like, hey, this has very little debt, and sometimes it's volatile because of Elon. I don't mind it when it drops. If you wanted to buy more, I don't really care. I'm kind of long-term holding, but all the same, something has to start the domino effect of that. But why does it always have to be negative? It technically isn't, and I think Mr. Beast is a perfect example of something that's not negative. This guy's nothing but happy all around, and everything he does, everything he touches turns to gold. Basically, like these guys know something to stay on the platform. Otherwise, they would have all. Maybe I'm being too black and white, but I feel like if you really didn't, you would all shut down your Twitter accounts and hop on over to Threads, if that's or Mastodon or whatever else you thought was going to be. I would take your approach over any others and say, no, then go to YouTube. Like, just put it has YouTube has polls. Like if I'm going to connect with my audience and all the same thing to promote, to connect, to network, and to grow, YouTube meets all of those requirements for me as well. Why not just do all that? But there's a reason for that. There's as much as people don't want to say it or believe it, there's still a little bit of hope in this platform that something will come around, because one thing that Twitter has done successfully, and besides user base, it stood the test of time against a lot of adversities that come its way.
That's true.
And it will. My theory is it will continue to do under anybody's leadership. And Jack was nobody special. He was nobody more or less important, and it went through hard times. And Elon has seen it, though. He's just a little bit more trolly about it. Do I like his sense of humor? No, not particularly, but I don't really care. I don't know the guy personally, so I don't really give a crap all the same. And that
do you subscribe to YouTube CEO when you're on YouTube? Like, no one cares. No one watches his videos. It's not important. Yeah, you just use the site for the people that are on there.
Yeah. It's all this noise, and I like that there's competition still. Here's why I opened up the Threads thing. One, I have a different audience that's also on Instagram. It's a blend of IRL and fan base, because Meta started off as IRL for me, whereas Twitter was strictly content creating, and I put them out there. And I always wondered, like, how can I was always Randy Vasquez. The only thing that was not Randy Vasquez was Time After Ashes, because it was more than one person, but I was always Randy Vasquez on both worlds, even though I was two very different people on my presentation as such. And I was like, how can I kind of blend it? And Instagram was kind of that blend, but I never really used Instagram. I would go days or weeks without ever even opening up the app, especially when Reels came out. And everybody wants to send me their Reel, like, oh, it's funny. Like, I'm off of TikTok for the same reason. I don't really necessarily care. So I'm not into it. But that's Randy, the consumer. I open up Twitter for the news because I like to see my algorithm's flawless. I don't have hate speech, this, that, or the other.
No.
I get the EV news, the tech news, the friend news, a little blend of all three. My algorithm's flawless on Twitter.
Good. That's
so
good.
I'm happy there. I'm good. But as a creator, I opened up the Threads account because it's the new hot thing that was over. If anyone's gonna see my work, IRL or fan, it don't really necessarily hurt. I'm doing what you do with the automation of when a video's posted. I take my blurb, copy paste Discord. For some reason I haven't been on Discord in months now. Like people know I'm not there, but they see me posting on the announcements tab, like hey, new whatever, and I post and I go. I post and I go because I treat every platform as you said this. This was your saying.
What did I
I
say?
treat them all as independent funnels that will ultimately come back to whatever this nucleus is.
Mm.
Which for music it could be on streaming, it could be on YouTube, it could. But
Yeah.
you taught me that it was the hope that these other little channels would lead to a bigger network, and then you shut down systematically every channel. So maybe you're the worst example for that, but I do like that because Threads kind of did do its job to promote the thing I was trying to do. Because right now, all the eyes that will be on Instagram are on Threads. I'm like, oh, that's fine, that's cool, but that's because my line of work, that's where it starts to uh, split from you with the music stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have the video element or the audio element. I need to showcase the creation in that process. And
Mm-hmm.
you even said that, like, if I had to do the clickbaity, I say the Mr. Who's the Bot, like, you're reading the font in live time, well, and you're kind of hooked, and that means it did its job. I got to give a sneak peek of the music, I get to get my message out, and now people know.
Yeah.
So marketing was done.
Right.
Put that to the side. I freaking hate Threads.
Well, okay, everyone says I'm not giving it a chance, and that's not fair, and I can't say anything about it without using it. So that's why I'm excited to hear someone's perspective as someone who has used it. Actually, it launched when I was in Thailand. I don't even know if I could have downloaded it.
We were recording.
We were?
I got 3 different text messages.
Oh.
Jordan, Jordan, he texts me, goes, "Hey man, it's time." And he's like, "I'm surprised it took so long." Because I guess Instagram gives you this like number, your number 4 million, blah 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 blah,
Uh-huh.
and I could have been within the first million had I looked at the text immediately. And I'm like, that's artificial clickbait, like that's artificial pressure to get you to like, ooh, who can
I
get the
was in the
lowest number?
first 3 billion.
Who gives a flying? I do not. I
Who gives
don't.
a PDF?
Yeah, I don't care. Threads is terrible. It's
Okay, tell
buggy.
me.
It's
Tell me.
broken. It's trash. The algorithm doesn't work. I get notified days later after somebody acknowledges a thread. My promo video, I am
Mm.
still getting notified on interactions that I was able to see manually because I had to swipe and go to my profile, then scroll down, see the video. Hey, there's 5 likes on this thing, and I posted it like an hour ago, but I don't have notifications. The notifications are buggy and clunky, but
Jeez.
Randy, it's a first version. It's a version 1 problem. Well, like, still, like,
Who's going to be around
you
for
don't
version 2?
excuse that on Twitter. You start attacking Elon when something. Whoa, he did the limit, the scroll limit thing, and then adjust and adjust and adjust, and well, it's just people don't excuse that. They at least let's acknowledge our biasisms out loud and quit acting like we're being fair to Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Twitter like that's Elon's platform. The same way
Mm.
I'm not looking at YouTube, the same way I'm not looking at I don't even look at Instagram the same way. I know that that's Mark Zuckerberg's platform. He put in his contract that he can't get fired.
Mm.
CEO my butt. It's not a democracy. He put it
Yeah.
in a way that he can't get fired. That's a dictatorship. That's him. That's a monarchy right there. That's his platform.
Whereas Elon's appointed a new female CEO for Twitter, and I don't think long term he wants to spend too much time at Twitter.
No. He needs to go back to talk about robot taxis and
Oh, God. No. Can he just do SpaceX stuff, please? That's all he does that I don't think is that controversial. Maybe someone in the space community finds it controversial.
oh, but people want to laugh at him for the thing blowing up and the like we can acknowledge that some people are just biased towards Elon, and that's fine. That's your preference, whatever. But I do not equate the two for what it is. The same way I don't equate Facebook, Instagram, and now Threads with Mark Zuckerberg. The
Because, like,
people, the
Zuckerberg
person,
bought Instagram as a strategic move to protect himself.
right.
I don't think Elon bought Twitter to protect himself and his financial interests. He himself acknowledged it was way too much. Like,
Yeah.
he tried to get out of that deal. He was trying to back out of it. And then the courts decided, no, you can't. And he was like, oh, shoot, okay, I guess I'll buy it. So I don't think
Yeah.
the motivations or the parallel, I don't compare the same. Again, I wish Elon would leave Twitter. I wish he would leave Tesla. We complain about him all the time over on the EV podcast. Maybe people on tech aren't used to hearing all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would not be. I couldn't be happier if he left, but at the same time, um, I think that a lot of the monetization changes are good ones.
There would not
that's gonna do
be
well.
there would not be healthy competition, regardless of what people would agree with in regards to what Elon is doing. He moves the goalpost forward. He still gets us in. There's still momentum happening,
Mm-hmm.
whether you agree with it or not. So let's take the opposition here. Say if Threads is perfect and stuff like that, there would be no Threads if it wasn't for Elon, guaranteed, because Threads would have been out a long time ago.
That's true.
Way before that.
Why now? They're trying to capitalize on the idea that Elon
Absolutely.
is running
And
Twitter
then why
poorly.
now? Not why now with the monetization? Oh, you think you could take our user base? Well, guess what? The people who actually use the platform, who actually have some stake in the game here and has an audience, now they're getting paid.
Right.
Take that, Meta.
Yeah.
Like it's. I like the competition.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're going back and forth.
There would be
now.
no Threads if it wasn't for Elon.
Do you think Threads will start paying people?
They not even they won't monetize until like the first billion or something like that.
Oh, geez.
And that's funny because they need to fix the platform first.
Isn't it US only?
Right now, because the EU has a very strict privacy concern with how much information it's taking from you.
I know everyone gets mad at the EU all the time, but they kind of just keep hitting it out of the park, I feel like, with a lot of the laws. I mean, banning lightning, yes.
If I wasn't so patriotic
batteries.
and pro-American, I would be a Euro fanboy. They are
crushing it. I mean,
they're doing great.
Replaceable batteries need to be easily swappable. Sweet. No threads. It's like
that's it.
Everything.
Stop right there.
I guess they have CCS too, which kind of sucks. But
listen, everyone has a flaw, at least one.
At least they standardize the connector, though. Like all their chargers, all their cars have the same charge port, which we don't have yet. We're working there. We'll get there in a couple of years, but EU's already there. Like, I know everyone's mad at them.
Very, yeah. No, you have to ask yourself this. There are worse governments, and you have to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, the same way I said Tucker Carlson or maybe Mr. Beast, they know something we don't about this monetization thing and why they like. I say Tucker because he was the most prominent, controversial guy to be like, I'm going to put my content here. And whether you agree or disagree with the guy, completely irrelevant if you get the clicks and you get the eyes. At the end of the day, on a business standpoint, we're no stranger to it. We could clickbait that, and we in some cases kind of did. We could have gotten way dirtier on YouTube to the path of monetization. If money was the objective, we could have done what everybody else did. We confirmed this and this, but we could have done the same thing and got even weirder with it. And there is stuff that the audience will never know that you and I know about that we could have really wreaked some havoc in the tech community if we wanted to.
I know what you mean.
Yes. So, but morals to the side, if all you care about is business function, regardless if you agree or disagree. I said the same thing about Joe Rogan. Last year? People forgot about Joe Rogan. I said he's only going to be villainized for a little bit of time, and then they move on to somebody else. Who's the flavor this month? Andrew Tate, and then who's next? Like it's going to. I didn't even know who that guy was until.
I still don't know.
Yeah.
I just hate that he has my name.
Friend. Stay ignorant. It's a don't keep. You are
I got
a smarter
that feeling
person
based on the couple headlines I read. I was like, I'm not gonna feel
Stay
better.
Stay ignorant because you have more brain cells than me right now, and I'm envious. So,
Dos Equis.
but
Stay ignorant, my friend. It's like me in politics.
like, find the one thing that you're not good at, and then don't do that thing. I love that commercial.
Yeah.
So, I say all that to say that
That's a good point.
much
Threads wouldn't exist if it weren't for Elon. You should
there
tweet
would
that.
not. We should, as we speak. No, I'll do it afterwards. So
Okay.
as much as I'm saying that those guys know something we don't for the monetization on Twitter, I'm also saying in regards to I lost. Oh man, I lost the train of thought. I was making a correlation. I'm connecting threads that man. I've been thinking about this for a week, my guy. I've been thinking
Well,
about
it's
it.
kind of a fascinating chapter in social media history, I feel like. And I think it's going to not be a new experience. I think everyone keeps forgetting how the vast majority of social medias fail. There's really only one, like how you talk about most car companies fail. It's like that with social
Statistically,
media. Like, they're statistically, they can't all make it. And the idea of
no.
one making it simply because they tied it to your Instagram account and they don't let you delete your Threads account without deleting your Instagram, that's...
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. There you
Thank
go.
you. The EU knows something we don't. Why do you think they are so strict on banning? What does the EU know besides the privacy port? I guarantee with the shadiness of Meta still doing Meta things
Never liked Meta.
that no, no, it I am necessary evil. It's it's one of those things where it's like I use you to promote and I am very upfront that I am here to promote the thing and I'm getting the heck out of here. You want to talk to me? Find me on Twitter or on YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
or we will talk there.
Mhm.
But anyway, the EU knows like regulators like they're to go as far as to ban the app. Why do you think it's not allowed everywhere else? America's free. Blah 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 blah. EU bans certain food products to come into Europe for the same reason because they have stricter health requirements. And you know what? As God bless America as I am, we're fat. We're fat people. Okay? Look at me. So
That's true.
and
To
that's
give
what
yourself some credit, it's a global issue. It's a growing
yeah.
rate of obesity in all countries, not just the U.S. But yeah, we're leading in that department for sure.
We are leading, and so the EU has always been
I'm
strict
doing my
with.
part.
I'm doing mine. The EU has always been strict with a lot of their requirements and stuff like that. So for them to ban an app like this, but then not ban TikTok, a
That's a good point.
Chinese-based,
TikTok
what do
isn't
they?
bad enough, but Threads is. Ooh.
So we can threaten TikTok that we're going to ban it unless they relinquish the ownership over to an American supervision, so they can surveil us instead, right? But the EU, with all their strict regulations, won't ban TikTok for the same threats that we were told about privacy, which we all know privacy is not real, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about this. So, TikTok's allowed, but not Threads. What does that tell you about the platform itself?
Sorry, you're good.
I really wish we could.
I
I wish we could host Edward Snowden sometime, so he can really
I'm just
let loose
picturing
here.
you in a classroom with like a whiteboard. Remember, class,
Yeah.
privacy doesn't exist.
Repeat after me for extra credit. Privacy doesn't exist. Yes. That's how I feel. I'm
Yeah,
lecturing right
no,
now
I know what
because
you
it's
mean.
true.
It's
What
true.
does the EU know that we don't? The same way some of these content creators know something about Twitter we don't. So all that to say, and I rest my case here.
It's a private company now, so you don't get to say insider information, right?
No, you can't.
Oh,
I will watch and observe, but these are the observations I've made over the last week, and I will conclude with this.
okay.
You have been right about a lot of things that were relevant to situations like this. And
Thank you for
for
adding
whatever
that
reason,
context, because I was like, when it comes to Apple leaks,
no,
I'm
no, no,
wrong
no,
a
no,
lot.
no, no,
But
no, no,
when it
no.
comes to,
You don't even have an Apple track record. You're that bad.
I felt this feels so deja vu with IGTV. It's almost the exact same conversation. I remember
You
having
led
the
the campaign
same.
on that,
I remember that
and
exact same talk where I was like, no, this isn't going to work, even though I want it to work. And there were so many people jumping down my throat saying, no, this is the future. IGTV is where it's headed. This is where it's moving. And I was like,
yep,
it ain't going to happen, even though everyone was so passionate and so convinced because it was the new hot thing. And I just remind everybody, like, it doesn't matter how many, they could have gotten 1 billion users on the first day. It wouldn't have mattered if they don't, especially when they make signing up that easy. Like
yeah,
just transfer from Instagram. Of course, you're going to get a ton of signups. The question is, will people stay there? That's the hard part. Getting people to sign up is the easy part. Like, there's so many people I've seen that were like, I tried it, hated it, left, but I can't delete it now. So
yeah.
they get to
You can
forever
delete the app, and that's that.
you
But
get to forever boast about, oh, it grew this quickly in a week and whatever. It's like, yeah, that doesn't translate
I
to anything.
see. Everyone's in the honeymoon phase now, but I will
It's
credit
already
where
kind
credit
of
is
ending.
due. It is a week later. I'm seeing a little bit more traffic on Twitter again. I was like, oh, I was kind of liking the stay at home pandemic quarantine version of Twitter where everyone was gone and I could just move around freely, you know? Basic Apple guy and I were having straight back conversations that would have never happened when everybody
Mm,
was over there. I was having so much fun.
hmm
I'm a little bit skewed, but I'll have to say that you were 10 out of 10 spot on with IGTV, and you've done other predictions that you were accurate about where everyone's like, "You're wrong, Drew." I don't remember at the top of my head. The most apparent is IGTV, and you were right. So for whatever reason, your radar of like this doesn't feel right or this feels right
Well, it's the same
is
story
in
with
tune.
Apple's social media too. I think we said the same thing with Apple Music Connect, iTunes
I
Ping,
wanted to. I wanted that to be a thing so bad for
Google Plus. Like, there's so many failed social medias, and honestly, very, very few social medias that have succeeded. And I think people don't think about that. They just think about, oh, this is a new one, so that one's going to get popular. It's like people come out with new social medias all the time. There's
yeah.
constantly new ones,
What
especially
was
when
the
Elon took
last
over.
new one? The last new one I would say is probably Snapchat, and that's over a decade old now.
Oh, like new that succeeded?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe TikTok, but that's
Oh,
China.
geez.
So
Yeah, I guess I
that
didn't.
was a rebrand of
Yeah.
Musically, wasn't it? It wasn't
Yep.
TikTok originally.
Yep.
But
It was
that has
musically.
Chinese government involvement, so it's almost not a fair comparison. Like they can kind of dictate what's popular over there.
Right.
um, so that's a little unfair. But yeah, Snapchat's probably the last big successful. Oh, you know what? Another one that everyone forgot about really quickly that I kind of predicted wouldn't work. Clubhouse.
Yes.
Do you remember
That's
that?
this.
No one's
Yes, and
talking
you were
about
right about that
Clubhouse
too.
anymore, and people are like, "Drew, you should come on Clubhouse." And I was like,
You were
"Nah."
right about that's the one I was forgetting, Drew. You were right about IGTV. You were right about Club. You're so calibrated about this for
I
whatever
could be
you do.
wrong.
I'm like
Well, it's
you
I'm not
could be.
calibrated. I appreciate you trying to, you know, say that I'm a spot on track record. I'm really not. The truth is, it's like predicting that a startup company will fail. It's an incredibly safe bet, in my opinion. What's funny is that most of the internet doesn't think it's a safe bet, even though historically I think it is. To
Crypto
expect,
NFTs. You were
yeah,
right about that.
I said that's not going anywhere either. Yeah, it's like maybe I'm good at predicting what won't be the next big thing. I'm not good at predicting what the big thing is, but that's the hard part. No one knows what the big thing is. But most social media fails, which is why, in my opinion, it's not like, oh, you're so right, you predicted this. It's like it's incredibly safe. If I would say probably one out of every 100 social medias turns into a long-lasting success, like you have your Instagrams, your Snapchats, or your YouTubes. So if a new one comes out, you have a 99% accuracy rating if you just predict, it'll probably flop. It will be popular for a little while and then it'll die off. Like Hive, like Blue Sky, like Mastodon, especially when there's so many different Twitter alternatives. They're shooting themselves in the foot because there's so many. They're all distorting themselves. It's like people can't keep track of it. Oh, I'm on Threads. Oh, I'm on. I think they're working on a way to make them all work together. I heard about. People are probably going to be mad that we don't talk
I
more
heard
about
about.
that.
Yeah.
There's some kind of
Yeah. You're right.
Mastodon integration, but I
Yep.
don't. I don't think that's sustainable either. There's a reason Reddit is closing off all their API access, and Twitter's doing the same thing, is because when you try to do that open source, it's just not as profitable or sustainable. And
You got
I,
to make money to keep the lights on, so to say.
in my opinion, it's not a secret weapon. I think a lot of people think it is. But I've been pretty safe with predicting pretty much all new social media is going to fail.
I got one. I got a social media that is probably newer than Snapchat,
What's that?
and I'm considering it as social media. I would say Discord.
Oh yeah, I forgot when. I feel like Discord's been around a long time, and it just more recently kind of picked up
Yeah,
traction.
because people found a way to use it outside of gaming,
Yeah,
and
it started as a
that
gaming thing. Same with Slack, I think. That was more work
yeah.
focused, but that got more and more popular.
I feel like Discord is the free version of Slack
Hmm.
or Microsoft Teams. Like it has the same like
Right.
core
Zoom,
functions.
is that social media?
Zoom.
That's more of a
No,
social
no.
tool.
Yeah, I think it's more
Zuckerberg's
of
a
a
social
tool.
tool.
Yeah, yeah. Zoom is akin to like Skype or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are more like FaceTime equivalents. I mean, by that logic, we would have to say iMessage is social media since we
Yeah,
can
not really.
customize our stuff, and I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
do all that. I would say like a standalone like platform that you can go and it can have its own thing.
Social media is
Maybe
hard,
Discord. It
but
is,
I've
but
learned my big lesson was from Twitch, like trying
yeah,
for multiple years to switch my audience over. And didn't matter what I
sure.
did, it wouldn't happen. I just always got a fraction of the number of people, and that was the lesson of like it's really hard to convince people to switch platforms. It's very very difficult. Even it doesn't matter how easy you make it for them. And I knew that Threads they would make it painfully easy to sign up for, but that doesn't mean it can sustain itself. So I
I have so many lurkers that
mm,
sign up and don't do anything with it from IRL that
mhm.
I see them because it's so misleading, dude. Because just by signing up, you automatically gain the followers that signed up before you
Oh
because you follow them on Instagram,
yeah yeah
and
yeah.
so your numbers are already bloated. And then your account sends friend requests to the accounts that haven't signed up yet. So you have pending right
Oh
now.
jeez, they're really
Tailosive
trying.
Tech is pending. It's pending. I have a pending friend request from you or to you
Wait,
because you
does
have an
that mean
Instagram
no?
account.
Does that mean someone hasn't taken my handle yet over there?
They can't.
They
It's
can't.
it's
Oh,
it
interesting.
is tied.
I
You
thought
can
someone
only
would have
change your handle.
created one. I thought as soon as I posted my video, I was like, someone's gonna pretend to be me.
Instagram is the hub. It's home base. Whatever you do on Instagram on your profile will echo to Threads. So your bio will mimic your profile pic, your handle. It all echoes to
Interesting.
Thread. So Thread is just the front to
This to
Instagram.
me just seems like a huge roundabout way to get everybody back on Facebook because it's turning into another platform with text, pictures, videos. What's the difference between Instagram plus Threads integration versus just the Facebook app? What's the difference? What's one offering?
Ads.
Facebook has ads, right?
No, no, yeah. Threads doesn't right now because it's broken. That's the
Well, it's
point I'm
broken
making.
now, but
Oh,
that's going to change. We all know that, right?
Instagram
Unless they
has
die
also done this
first.
thing. Instagram has also done when you go to your DMs that you can post your status of like and
Mm.
it lasts for 24 hours, and then you can also put a song, a music that's playing. That is literally MySpace. That was MySpace. So
uh,
they
yeah,
stole from a 20-year no not 20 yeah 20-year almost 20-year-old
I think so.
platform
Yeah, very old.
because yeah early 2000 mid 2000
Mm.
so that's basically 20 they like now playing it shows the music of like oh here's what this person's listening to and you can only see what they're posting if you're a
Wow.
follower if you're a friend
Huh.
if you follow them and they follow you you get to see in your DMs the person's status for the day that goes away after 24 hours so basically a text version of a story
Yeah,
and then music I'm like you're those were they call them bulletins and profile songs on my it was Instagram is so unoriginal now that's under meta that I just kind of I roll my eyes. The reels are TikToks
I
and
know.
they even have the little TikTok watermark on it, you know? Like it's
That's all they
everything
know how
but
to do.
text and the text version is on Threads, which is to compete with Twitter. but it's really competing with Facebook. It's their way of making new Facebook without all the boomers.
Yeah,
That's what it
that's the
is.
thought process I have. Is it's all a roundabout way. Eventually, you know, in their view, I don't think this is going to happen, but their mindset is Threads gets really popular with text, and Instagram remains the place for photos and videos, and your reels and your stories, and they're all integrated with each other, so the same messaging and the same profile pictures. And eventually they realize, well, we can simplify all this by combining it all into one app called Facebook. And
Because
now,
what's funny is, at the source of all, they're all owned by the same company.
yeah,
It's
it's the
social
same
media.
email address and password for all those accounts. It's all Meta,
It
and
really is.
they'll integrate
It's
WhatsApp into it and everything.
yeah.
And
I don't. I don't have an opinion. I don't really care one way or the other about uh, Zuckerberg. I don't. I just don't care. The same way I'm indifferent about Elon at the helm. I don't care
I
about
don't
Zuck
like
and what he's doing.
I don't like
I'm
either of them,
indifferent.
to be fair. But I think
Okay, so it's it's it's
Elon
it's it's
has made,
balanced.
in my opinion, better products, better services than Zuck has. I think Zuck has been mostly made a career out of copy, buyout, and
He got lucky. Here's the thing. Facebook kind of copied MySpace anyway.
mhm. Well, I
It
don't
was
even
a
think
more polished.
Zuckerberg was really the original creator of Facebook, right?
No,
Wasn't he? Yeah. So the company was founded on great artist steal, I guess. But
yeah,
like I appreciate competition if it's good competition. Like it encourages the companies to actually try harder, try to make a better product. And I don't feel that way about Meta's products. Like some people are like, "Oh, you're okay when Apple wants to, you tell Apple to copy stuff, or you want Twitter to copy stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I want the product and service to get better." And I just don't see that for Meta. In my opinion,
yeah.
Instagram was worse after Meta bought it, and Threads feels like it's missing a ton of things that Twitter already has, and it's missing a ton of regions and features. And Facebook, I felt like they never updated. It always kind of stagnated, and they never
Yeah.
made it better over time. And um, so, yeah, I feel like it's the worst form of
Twitter
competition.
replaced Twitter replaced Facebook for all the things that I needed it to do that I use Twitter for now. If Facebook just kept updating, I might have just stayed on Facebook because it was maybe there was a convenience layer there. The thing about Twitter that made them work, besides like I can post like actually like high quality photos that you can load in 4K, or videos as well, and it was cleaner. I can run polls. Facebook took away polls. Um, it did. The only
Uh,
thing that the only thing that Facebook was starting to lack then, and it just they fell behind, was like reachability. Unless you
mm,
paid for Facebook ads, and I used to pay for ads to promote my albums and stuff,
mm-hmm,
with me and the old gang back in the day.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I did not see the same traffic as I saw on Twitter or really anywhere else. I even paid for Google ads, and I got more through Google at that point. So I I see Facebook as unoriginal in every sense of it, but it was the modern day refined MySpace. But it was the one that stood the test of time, and it was the Gen 1 platform for social media, and that should have catapulted people to other. When I found Instagram, it was independent, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah,
I
that's when
just
I
got
found it.
to edit. Edit photo,
Hmm.
square,
I used to post there all
cool.
the time. Yeah,
Yeah, it was another what? Tumblr? It
or
was like
Flickr.
that.
Yeah,
Flickr.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one. Flickr. It was nice. And then, like you said, Zuck felt threatened, snatched it right up, and he's been doing that ever since.
Hmm.
Copy or buy out. And when Snapchat wouldn't sell, then they stole, and it worked. But at what cost? Like I don't like.
But Slingshot didn't work. Remember that? I actually
You have
tried that.
a. I didn't.
I remember
I
when
was
it
more
came out, I had a few
pessimistic back
friends
then.
that were like, "Oh man, they got their own version of it now. You got to try it. You got to try it." So I tried it, and I was like, "It's not any better than Snapchat." I didn't really like Snapchat in the first place, so I was like, "Yeah, this isn't very good." So what did they do? They gave up on the dedicated app, and then they just integrated into the regular Instagram app because people don't move platforms. So I won't be
Yeah.
shocked if Threads ends up just being integrated into the Instagram app in the future, and they just kind of bake it in there. It's like, oh, now Instagram
Again,
has text and
the way
pictures
like
and videos.
IGTV got baked in
So
too.
Instagram
I
is
want,
basically Facebook.
yeah, basically, yeah, again, and then it'll shut down the services on Facebook. I want to, I want to conclude on this, and here's my stance, and I'm sure you agree because I know where you stand on it. Here's why Threads is not the second coming of the I'm serious because people swear by it, right? People are swearing by
Yeah,
it, and I'm like,
yeah.
calm down. Here's why. Here's why it's not going to work, and why I think people will start going back to Twitter. Uh, because Threads, when I listed off Snapchat or Discord, and even to at one point Instagram before it got bought up, they had something very similar, and that's that there was nothing similar. There was no overlap.
That's true.
Threads offers nothing new or proprietary.
That's true.
Discord literally changed how I can categorize like topics in a way that Twitter can never.
You're right.
I was like, that's dope.
The big
Threads
platforms are the
offers
ones that recreate the idea
they
of social
offer
media.
something proprietary.
Right, right.
I'm not looking for something to supersede Twitter the same way. Like I know people who still use daily. My wife being one of them. Snapchat. That's like just their thing. Because group Snapchats are easier to send for the people that she stays in communication with from throughout the military.
Right.
Whereas like like Instagram is just like oh hey, look at my meal today, or which you could do that too, I guess. But there was nothing proprietary about like Snapchat was vertical, this, that, look at the stories, and you can check out the news if you want a more quick news feed here.
Well, the genius of Snapchat, which, I don't use it, I'm not a fan of it, but the genius of it that was smart was figuring out that teenagers care about temporary media.
Sure.
That was smart. Sometimes it's a limitation that you need to look for. That's kind of what Twitter started off, the character limit. They found a niche that made it unique, that made it stand out. I don't like that they extended the character limit, by the way. That was another Elon change that I didn't care for. But they noticed that teenagers and young kids love taking pictures and then deleting them right away. They hate them. They're like, I delete that. I don't like the way I look. They like that temporary, short-term content sharing. And then after that, okay, get rid of that. I don't want to see it again. And that was what Snapchat was founded on, was like, send the picture and then it goes away. Send the video and then it's erased forever. And that attracted a certain demographic. I'm not in it, but it's definitely still around. I mean, I should give them credit.
It's your demographic that it attracted, but you're just the one who's not. You're an old soul, though, so it's
I used it in high school for a while, but when I had friends that were using it. But after a while, I was like, I was kind of getting sick of screenshotting.
You were born in the wrong decade. You should have been born in the 90s with me. And by the 90s, I mean the literal, like, 1990. None of that 98.
I should have been born like 10 years from now, I think.
Well, then you're a super old soul. Because I used Snapchat, but I was like, this ain't for me. But my brother, who's 10 years younger than me, is all about it. He's like that. So
that's the exact same story in my family. All my younger relatives use it, but I'm like, no thank you. But
no thank you.
I'll give them credit. They didn't sell out to Facebook, and they totally could have. I'm glad they didn't. Thank you, Snapchat.
And they have a small margin of the market, but they still exist. And to that point, Snapchat lives in its own little corner of the internet forever and always, and it's doing just fine of its own original proprietary stuff that like catapults them. Same way YouTube, nothing replaces YouTube for the same reason. There's nothing proprietary that people are offering that makes us be like, that's right way, we gotta go like that. All you can do is do refinement. If Twitter can make creators get paid more, that's something that's like, oh, that's a refinement, not necessarily original, because Google pioneered it, but
it's the YouTube approach.
All the same, yeah, I'll take it. Threads has nothing proprietary.
Their proprietary is Instagram. That's it. It links with your Instagram. That doesn't. It's like,
you can
do
the same. You can have this for everyone else who's not us, who like to have a million apps. You get the same experience on Instagram if you just download Snapchat and TikTok or YouTube. You have the same You have the literal same experience, ads included in all. You don't have to just submit to Meta because that's clean. That's not enough. That's just there's nothing incentivizing because there's nothing proprietary.
That's a good point. Well said. All right. So now Threads will become the biggest social media in the world, and this will be the
That's normally our trend, right?
yeah.
Breaking
No, I saw
news: Twitter just got bought by Threads.
Now that would be funny. Should there be some kind of outcome because of the Zuck Elon fight? Like,
ooh, if there was like a coliseum that they could fight at, you know, if only
but like
there was
if Elon wins, they shut down Threads or something. That would be.
That's the easy way out. Zuck is going to do it anyway.
That's true. I think Zuck's going to win, actually, to be honest.
I mean, he has the capital. He does.
Yeah. I just mean he looks in shape.
Oh, we're talking about that again.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but you underestimate the power of Neuralink. He's going to unlock. He's like, you know, the Matrix when he's like, I know Kung Fu, right? That's gonna be.
They just got Neuralink approved for human trials, and Elon's gonna be the first one. I just picture that scene from Sherlock Holmes, like block left cheek, discombobulate. And he's like mapping out the whole thing in his head. Oh my god! And when he needs to get behind Zuck, he's gonna use the boring company to dig under the ground and pop out the other end, and he'll
is this Transformers now?
He'll have the Iron Man suit and be punching him like Thanos and everything. Yeah.
You underestimate my power, Elon.
That's a great design.
I'm gonna eat your soul.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. No, if it was just a straight fist fight, Mark Zuckerberg has so much free time on his hands. All he does is work out. You know.
That's true.
Somebody told Zuck. He said, "You should really." It was Wendy's. Wendy's on Thread. Wendy's, the company, Wendy's. It's a fast food chain. The
Sounds
troll,
like
the original troll.
Yeah.
Right? On Thread tagged Zuck and said, now you should go to space first just to really tick him off.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, this is exactly what it is. This is where I don't agree with Elon's the whole like, oh, you just break out the ruler and you know, it could be a measuring contest at this point. Like this is it's the whole like remember when everyone was trying to go to space first, like is it going to be Sir Richard Branson?
Yeah.
You know, Richard or Elon or Jeff or maybe it's going to be Bill Gates somehow. I don't know. You know, like
yeah, I know.
All these billionaires just to like, well, I'm doing it first. Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, Space. It's the same thing. It's just people with so much time and money on their hands that like, no, I'm going to make a better platform than you. Yeah, well, I'm going to go to space first. Like, all right, man.
We're all in a world full of billionaires fighting each other, and we just have to deal with the consequences.
This is their world, and we just live in it.
It's true. I think we're all the NPCs. I've never felt
more like an NPC than I do right now.
That's wonderful. Well, that brings me peace, knowing I'm just an NPC.
Okay with it. Yeah, that's how insignificant we are, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, everybody, again. We gotta stop meeting like this with these long episodes. People might start thinking it's the requirement. These are just.
I know you guys don't deserve this. Seriously.
You don't deserve us.
Bye, everybody.
I will see y'all in the next one. Take care. Bye.